Welcome to a special Sunday night episode of Bits and Bones. I am Mortheous, and with me tonight we have Sam and Joe. How are you gents tonight?
Doing pretty good. This is rare for a Sunday evening, but I hope everyone is doing well.
As do I,
Been a while since we done a Sunday night.
right? But sorry about no show on Friday. I had no power, so I figured that we'd do a makeup show tonight. Thank you, gentlemen, for being amenable to doing that.
No problem. In all honesty, I kind of got a little shit faced on Friday, so I was actually kind of like, well, shit. I kind of don't want to do the show if I'm gonna be, but if I'm gonna be this drunk. So so.
drunk Sammy on Bits and Bones. That would have been funny.
No, well, it would have been funny, but maybe not for you because I would have just talked over you the entire time. So I would have been, so I kind of would have been like Max, but not, but he doesn't drink.
Right?
So
You would have been drunk, Max. Wow.
yeah. Anyway, I know we have a lot to talk about. I certainly do in the James Bond category. But
I was
what do
say,
you?
just say there's quite a bit with James Bond and PlayStation as well. But the first thing I wanted to kick tonight off with is they something actually positive from Ubisoft for once. Uh, they revealed uh, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, which is a remake of the classic Black Flag game. Figured we'd watch at least some of the reveal trailer.
Cool by me. I do have one question before we get started.
Sure.
Uh have they like confirmed any more like progress on the Splinter Cell remake or is that dead in the water
I
pretty
haven't
much?
I haven't heard either way. Unfortunately, me personally, I think it's probably dead in the water.
Yeah, figures. Okay. That's all I needed to know.
This is Assassin's Creed Black Flag
Can you
Resynced.
guys
I've
see and
got
hear?
exclusive gameplay
Yep.
here. I'll be
Yep.
showing you the new parkour, stealth, combat, open world, all of it. I got invited by Ubisoft last week to see this early, so I've got some solid details to share along with the gameplay. Let's start with something big, the parkour. Just look at how the parkour looks in the remake. I'm gonna be honest, I was actually a bit worried about this before the reveal. Recent Assassin's Creed games haven't really nailed the parkour, so my expectations weren't exactly high. But this is looking pretty solid. It's not exactly the original system, but it's basically the updated version from Shadows after the improvements it got, just polished a bit more for Black Flag. What really makes it stand out though is the world design. This already feels better than Shadows or any of the recent games simply because of how dense everything is.
I'm gonna quick stop right here. From what I'm seeing here already, I played the original Black Flag. Love the original Black Flag. It's one of the few Assassin's Creed games that I've played repeatedly, and everything I'm seeing here so far, I like. It's definitely like the narrator saying it's a lot like the newer games, but it's so far true to Black Flag.
So I've I've played the Assassin's Creed but series but like not that much. So like I played the original easy Ezio games, I guess, that took place during like
Okay.
the that like took place, during the plague or whatever. And my understanding is like is that the parkour system has always been there. So like I'm not
Correct.
so like did Ubisoft break it or something, or like why is he saying that that like it's
He's saying that because back during Black Flag, it was considered the best version of the parkour system, and in recent games they kind of fucked it up.
okay, gotcha.
Like this is a proper city again, built with parkour in mind, and that instantly makes movement more engaging. You have still got all of Edward's classic moves here too. Side ejects, back ejects, all of that is here. But my absolute favorite thing here is easily the return of tree parkour. I know the original had it, but this is something I genuinely didn't expect to see in the remake. It's running on the same engine as Shadows, and that game had basically no tree parkour at all. So the fact that it's here and looks properly integrated like the original is a big deal. It's been so long since the series had proper tree movement like this, and I already know I'm going to spend way too much time just doing this. Stealth is where you start noticing some really nice changes. You can already see it here. They have added a dedicated crouch button, which means you can crouch anywhere now. And that alone makes it feel way more
That's
modern
a
than the
great
original.
improvement.
Back then, you were mostly relying on bushes or very specific cover spots just to crouch. But now, you actually have proper control over how you move through areas. You can even see the hidden icon on the UI when you are crouched, showing that you are completely hidden, and all the classic tools from the original are still here too. So stealth feels like Black Flag just updated, and it actually looks like it's going to be a lot more fun to play. But here is
He mentioned the classic duels from the game. Back during this era, they were quick time events, and from my understanding, I'm not sure if this this video shows it, but from everything that I've heard is they've updated it to actually be real time duels now and not QTEs.
Yeah, that would be a massive improvement. I don't know a single person who likes QTEs.
Nobody.
the absolute best part, the thing that is going to make everyone so happy. They have fixed stealing and eavesdropping missions. If you have played the original, you already know how painful those were. One mistake, you get detected, and it's instant desynchronization. Game over. Now, though, the game just continues. Objectives stay active, targets react dynamically, and you don't instantly fail anymore. That alone changes so much because
Yeah,
now you
no
can
instant
actually
fail.
recover and still complete the mission in different ways. Alright, before we get into the full rework combat and the updated naval gameplay, quick thing. I've got a couple of other Resynced videos up on the channel right now. One going over the graphics and gameplay comparison, and another covering everything that's new in the remake. So if you want a deeper look, you can check those out after this. And yeah, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Alright, back to the video. Okay, this is our first look at the combat in Resync, and honestly, it looks pretty good. It's not like the original, and it's not like the recent RPGs either. It feels like a proper evolution of the original system, but way more stylish. I'm
Yeah, I'm good
actually
with it.
really glad they changed it, because the original combat was way too easy, and the newer games, while deeper, didn't always look that great visually. This though looks clean and satisfying. One thing I noticed, all the classic weapons are still here. Edward's got his dual swords, pistols, hidden blades, everything you'd expect, which is great to see. There's also a proper parry system now, which is definitely going to make combat more challenging. If you time it right, it completely opens up the enemy for an instant kill. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the big attack glint enemies have. It just looks a bit off. One thing I'm really hoping for here is smarter AI, because in the original it wasn't anything special, but overall combat looks like it has balance now. It's more flashy, but also more challenging. And honestly, I'm really excited to try this myself, because if it feels even close to how good it looks here, this could be really fun. The absolute best part of the original game for me was always the naval gameplay.
Ship gameplay. Yeah,
Abraham Lincoln united a nation.
but yes, we definitely need the ship combat.
Shanties, that whole vibe was unmatched, and man, it's going to be so nice experiencing that again. In the remake, the Jackdaw is way more powerful now. There's more firepower, and every single weapon has alternate fire modes, which should add a lot more depth to what was already really good ship combat in the original. And one thing that really stood out to me, the explosions. They look much bigger, more intense, and way more impactful overall. Every hit feels heavier now, and just like the on-foot combat, naval gameplay has been tweaked to be more challenging. I will say this though, naval combat in the original was already pretty well balanced, so I'm a bit curious how this change is going to feel. And this here might be one of the coolest smaller additions. You can actually have a cat or a monkey on your ship. I'm not
No
sure if they
way.
have any gameplay abilities or if it's just cosmetic, but either way, it adds a lot of personality.
Monkey!
And yeah, I already know I'm going straight for the monkey as soon as I get the game. Also, please Ubisoft, let us pet him. Now, the biggest overall improvement has to be the
Yeah, if you can't pet the monkey or the cat, there's no point in having him.
I
graphics. I just love
Go ahead, Sammy.
I was just going to say I'm a little surprised that you would want a monkey, given that you're an overlord guy.
Yeah, monkey fits more the pirate aesthetic more.
That's true.
how this game looks. What's really nice is that the original art style is still somewhat there. That slightly stylized, more saturated look hasn't been lost. It's not exactly like the original since the engine is different, but they have done a really commendable job getting close to that feel. The original Black Flag already looked great, especially for its time, and the water physics and ocean visuals still hold up really well. But I have to say, the remake has made some amazing upgrades here. The water looks phenomenal now. The lighting, the detail, the atmosphere, everything feels upgraded without completely losing that original vibe. I was kind of expecting Ubisoft to expand the cities a bit in size, but they seem pretty similar overall. Still, visually and in terms of density, it's a clear improvement. Overall, graphics wise, Ubisoft Singapore has done a really great job here. I genuinely love the visual upgrade. Oh, and one more thing I noticed. I really like how Edward's face looks. I did have some doubts about how they would handle that, especially after what happened with the Assassin's Creed 2 remaster and some of the NPCs' faces there. But here, Edward looks great. Honestly, most of the characters do. Facial details, expressions, everything just looks way more refined in the remake. Now, one thing I want to clear up because there was a lot of rumors around this. People were saying this might turn into an RPG or that it would move more towards the origin style experience and completely change what Black Flag originally was. But that's not the case at all. This is still a fully single player action adventure game just like the
As it
original.
should be.
No RPG shift, no heavy rework of the core structure. It stays true to what Black Flag was. And honestly, I'm really glad about that because what made Black Flag special was that focused, uninterrupted action adventure experience. You weren't constantly dealing with RPG systems or overcomplicated progression. It was just a strong story, great gameplay, and that sense of freedom. So yeah, it's good to see they have kept that identity intact instead of trying to turn it into something else. Overall, you can tell what they were going for here. This isn't trying to replace the original or completely change it, it's very clearly built to preserve what worked and just make it feel better with modern tech and design improvements. Even the way they have added new content feels careful, just like constantly checking if it respects the original or not before.
All right, that's the end of that. Basically, I just everything that I'm seeing and hearing here, I'm severely impressed with, and really hope they don't somehow fuck it up last minute.
Yeah, part of that for me, honestly, will be
And it's coming out July 9th.
what what's going to be the pricing on that.
I think I've heard 50. Not to,
I-
not to be sure, but I think that's the price.
in how in how of a game is it?
The original is from 2013.
Okay. Well, I mean that's not horrible, but like for a game that age, like it should be like closer to 40, but eh.
Yep. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is priced at 59.99 for standard, 69.99 for the deluxe, and of course the collector's edition is 200. But for,
Yeah.
but for 60, I would consider it. And the other also the other good thing that I've heard is they're not delisting the original either. They're leaving both up.
Okay, yeah. If they're not delisting, if they're not if they're not delisting the original, then that's good. So
And I believe we also have the specs for PC as well here, or at least we did. We stop that and reload that page because that was coming up earlier. But yeah, I don't know if either of you gentlemen played the original, but like I said, I have. It's quite honestly my favorite Assassin's Creed game,
That's the
and
only Assassin's Creed game I have.
nice.
I got it for it was on 360 for free on the market, and that's one that actually did transfer over to my newer Xbox.
And here we have the PC specs. Recommended uh, 1920 by 1080. GPU, Intel Core i5, uh, AMD Ryzen 5, GPU NVIDIA RTX 3060, AMD Radeon RX 6600. Uh, Seems pretty reasonable to me because even with my PC issues that I currently have on the show, I honestly think I'd probably be able to run this at maybe not top settings, but at least okay settings that I would be okay with playing it at.
yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, when I heard Black Flag Resynced all week, I'm like, okay, I need to find the gameplay so we can talk about it on the show. Like, okay, this positive Ubisoft news for once. Holy shit! No, they just need to not fuck it up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see on July 9th whether they fuck it up or not.
Hmm.
Um, you said you had some James Bond news there, Sammy.
I I do, and the links, everything I had is on my other um computer, but they released a new game. They released like a new I don't really want to call it a gameplay trailer, but that for lack of a better term, that's what it is.
More game footage.
Yeah, not well, more gameplay footage, and also they explained some more of the mechanics um that they have. And the reason why I want to play this is I think like this could be like a game changer for stealth mechanics in games, kind of like how the Batman Arkham series changed stealth mechanics. So,
How so?
well, think like have either of you played any of like the newer Hitman games from like 2016 or beyond?
I have.
Okay, so think like so think Hitman, but then also like as far as stealth, but now they also have like a bluff mechanic to where like if you get caught, you can like talk your way out of situations and whatnot
Nice.
and whatnot. Um and and like other you know, mechanics like that too, like the bring back gadgets for like, you know, environmental takedowns and whatnot, which is pretty cool. So let me
I think I found it. Let me pull that up.
okay.
Is this what you're talking about there, Sammy?
Yeah.
All right, let me.
Everyone!
Welcome to MI6. To succeed in the Double O program, agents must understand a set of rules that will grant them all possible chances to survive. So, weigh in with the help of unexpected allies.
Relax, fellas. He's with me.
Once trespassing, slip past your opponents unnoticed, or use takedowns to silently get rid of them. When confronting a whole group of enemies, you may choose a gentler approach.
And hut! Rob Minkley, Crux Magazine.
Bluffing is an art that will serve you well, whether getting caught red-handed
Over here! Looks like a trust fall gone wrong.
or to simply pass through a room under enemies' noses.
Boy, you lads got a faulty coffee machine.
Bluffing consumes instinct and won't be available if a more experienced enemy is nearby. In this scenario, you won't get far without the appropriate gear. Therefore, the second rule is to always come prepared.
Well, what are we waiting for?
MI6 will keep its doors open for you between missions, giving you the chance to catch up with familiar faces, gather intel, and prepare for your next move.
So, your name is Moneypenny.
Now let's not get carried away, James.
QLab, on the lower level, will give you access to a wide range of gadgets.
I like it. Don't change a thing.
Each tool is designed to go unnoticed on the field, but help with maximum efficiency.
Right, follow me. I have something.
So can you pause real quick? So I wonder if this is going to be like one of those things where like you can like replay you know, different missions and get different outcomes, kind of like in the Hitman games.
I would hope so, because especially if you can utilize different gadgets in each mission.
Yeah. So and I mean I like too the fact that now they're kind of getting they're kind of getting away from doing the stealth you know, mission fail thing.
Right.
Because one of the things that like Bond games, at least in the 2000s, what were like notorious for was like even if you got spotted by like an enemy off screen or something, you would get like a mission failed or something like that. So
Yeah, there's nothing more annoying than getting spotted by somebody fucking off screen that you can't even fucking see.
yeah. So so yeah. Uh and then and then what they're going to explain with the combat gameplay is pretty interesting too. So
All right, let me hit play again.
yeah.
Useful information about opportunities and hackable devices. Your Q-Watch should be able to activate these to divert attention, deactivate cameras, or get rid of unsuspicious enemies in creative ways. The dot phone can quietly move enemies out of the way. The Smoke Pod, a timeless classic, will block visibility at short range. The modified earbuds will produce a flash of light to stun opponents. Other gadgets will be developed in due time and will help you stay creative in all circumstances.
Who do you work for? Take the shot!
Knowing how to improvise is a matter of life and death in the midst of action. Any object at disposal could prove useful to put an enemy's ideas back in their place. The same could be said of guardrails, electrical panels, or any surface hard enough to act as a weapon. Under heated circumstances, MI6 grants you a license to kill, allowing for even more possibilities to get rid of hostiles. In these situations, any weapon could be used as long as you manage to obtain it. Switch between different playstyles to catch your attackers off guard, and don't forget to return what you borrowed once out of ammo. Some enemies will be harder to defeat, and gadgets will help you get rid of soldiers' armors, stun tenacious leaders, and defuse grenades with the simple press of a button from your watch. Focus training will also give you an edge over your enemies. Dilate time and incapacitate their legs, or disarm them with the precision of a marksman. All of these skills might be trained between missions in TACSIM, the department of Dr. Selena Tan.
Welcome to my dream factory.
TACSIM will put your skills to the test through multiple types of challenges, each with its own specific rules that will pitch your performance against those of other agents from around the world. Overcoming challenges will earn you experience points, which you can spend on gadget upgrades, new firearms, and unique outfits to defeat enemies in style. And remember, at IO Interactive, the launch of a game is only the start. New content for TACSIM will be created over time.
Faster, James. Faster.
So, keep an eye out for our updates, and get ready as new challenges lie ahead to put your 00 skills to the test. Finally, one last unwritten rule might be that an agent is never as good as when surrounded by allies, a team ready to give its all in the field, and companions to defend. But we're pretty sure you'll figure out this part yourself when the time comes. See you on May 27th to join the program and discover Bond's adventures in 007 First Light.
So there are people online who are bitching at the fact that you can't just like walk into a room and start shooting people. But like I honestly don't have a problem with that because like at the end of the day,
Why would you expect to do that in a James Bond movie or a James Bond game?
right? Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is like yeah, is James Bond at the end of the day is like a spy, game, and so it's not gonna be like COD, or even like John Wick, where you just start like where you just walk into a room and start shooting.
Right. And I
People.
get it. People like figuring out how to solve things themselves, but you're literally playing a James Bond game. You're not playing a character from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I mean, it's not like you can't. I mean, I don't know yet because the game's not out, but I mean, it does seem to me like the combat sections will be pretty. I mean, it seems like you can, trigger combat
It looked pretty robust to me.
if you want to. So, like I said, I think a lot of people who also grew up in the Daniel Craig era where Bond kind of was more or less a hitman, are upset because they're not used to Bond like doing actual like spycraft stuff like in the
Right.
Brosnan This game is really giving me like Pierce Brosnan Bond vibes.
Absolutely.
So um so yeah, we're just under a month away now. So
That's cool.
I'm trying to figure out how to stream from my PlayStation to the YouTube channel. So
That'd be cool.
but yeah, so that's all I had. You gentlemen have any thoughts on that?
That looks like a super fun game, to the point where, honestly, this uh, Skull and Bones outfit alone almost makes me want to say fuck it and forego your opinion and just buy it myself. But I'm still gonna wait.
Well, I will say this. If you pre-order now, you get that outfit and everything, and like you get a whole lot of you basically get the bonus or like you basically get like the not the collect you get the deluxe edition for the price of the standard edition
That's cool.
right now, which is kind of why I pre-ordered. So
Understandable.
that and my fellow author Terrence kind of bullied me into doing it too. So
I kind of approve of that. Sorry, Sammy.
of course you would, dickhead.
Hashtag bully the cripple.
But I'm still gonna steal Sydney Sweeney from you, sir.
We're fighting.
We are.
Because this old man still has fight in him, goddammit.
A hashtag not your mom.
I'll make her a mommy.
You wish. Anyway.
Anyway, something that wasn't on the schedule originally, but I saw as I was browsing, is the new Steam controller leak earlier today. So I'm going to pull up a Twitter video from that.
Uh-huh.
Product and shown us its core specs and features, but the weak product and shown us its.
Alright, we can see that. New Steam controller looks pretty interesting.
It looks fucking huge.
But to recap,
looks huge, and even though I'm a smaller guy, I've got giant hands, so I'm good with it. Definitely not going to be for somebody with smaller hands, though. Unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. More, I'm a smaller guy with huge hands, so.
I mean, I have big hands, but I don't need a big fucking controller. But they could be like front facing, like big on the front of it, but not like bulky all the way around.
Right, slim
which
down.
wouldn't be bad.
Right.
Like the original Xbox controller, that thing was a fucking rock in your hands.
Facts.
Yeah.
and foremost, it's just a controller. It's got its ABXY buttons, a D-pad, a pair of symmetrical thumbsticks, and a pair each of buttons and triggers. But what sets this controller apart from the rest are three main features. On the back, you've got 4 extra grip buttons, which aren't exactly an unheard of feature, but not something you get on every controller.
Same.
Next up is the inclusion of a 6-axis gyro. It means you can play games by tilting the controller left and right, or forward and back. But make no mistake, the big deal here are these trackpads. Just like on the Steam Deck, these can be used just like the trackpad on a laptop, letting you input cursor movements so that you can play games that would otherwise need a mouse input, and they allow you to just browse your desktop with ease. By default, the right one controls the cursor and the left one provides a scroll function, but you can swap these around if you like. Whichever one's doing cursor input can also be set to act like a trackball. So if you flick your finger across it, the cursor will carry on moving after you release your finger. What's so incredible about these trackpads is just how immediately intuitive it feels. Within minutes of using this controller, it just feels totally natural. Sure, you don't get anywhere near the speed and accuracy of a real mouse, but for opening a tab, inputting text on an on-screen keyboard, scrolling through documents, and of course playing mouse-oriented games, it's amazing. There are going to be games where it doesn't hold up. For instance, you're not going to compete with keyboard and mouse players trying to use the trackpads in a first-person shooter, and you're not going to compete with League players for click accuracy and clicks per second. But the sheer wealth of extra options it opens up is truly transformative. And here's the crucial thing, it's not just transformative if you have a living room PC or if you use your Steam Deck in docked mode plugged into your TV, it's also just great for when you want to sit back and play games with a controller at your desk. There's no need to grab a mouse just to navigate your PC to, whisper it quietly, open games on a different launcher than Steam, for instance.
I like that.
So the trackpads are a revelation, but what about the rest of the controller? Well, all the basic functions feel great. The thumbsticks use TMR sensing, so they will never develop dead spots, and their action feels smooth and has just the right amount of resistance. They don't compete with a premium controller with swappable sticks, but they're a huge upgrade over those of the Steam Deck. Likewise, the D-pad and face buttons are a decent step up from the Steam Deck, with them being larger and with a crisper feel. In terms of other extra features though, you could kind of think of this as a fairly basic controller. The thumbsticks can't be customised, you can't swap the faceplate, the triggers don't have a hair trigger mode, and none of the buttons are clicky micro switches. But controllers with those features tend to cost over $200. Meanwhile, the build here is rock solid and the overall shape and comfort is decent too. The grips are a little on the slim side, but I have fairly large hands and I didn't find it a major problem. In fact, the only two complaints I have are that the rechargeable battery isn't easily swappable and that the surface of the controller is just plain rough textured plastic, so it's a little bit slippery if you have dry hands. A soft touch coating or rubber on the grips would have been nice. Also, it's worth noting that you don't get an audio jack. Connection to your PC is via the included dongle that also acts as a little magnetic charging puck, saving you from ever having to unplug the wireless dongle just to charge your controller. Here, you just clip on and carry on. So as you might have guessed, I'm seriously impressed with the Steam controller, but it won't be for everyone. If you simply never play games with a controller, well, this isn't going to convert you. Also, if you are used to using a premium controller with customizable thumbsticks and hair triggers, you don't get those here. Also, at $99, it's not cheap, but it's only $25 more than a PS5 controller, yet it can do so much more, and it's still half the price of most premium controllers. At the end of the day, no controller is going to be perfect for all purposes. However, if you want one controller that does nearly everything brilliantly, the Steam controller delivers. It's shown us its core, it's shown us
It's not. Doesn't look bad. And
I don't dislike it.
Yeah, I don't dislike it, and $99 for what that controller does isn't, like you said, isn't bad at all.
Yeah. No, that's not bad at all. And yeah, I mean, yeah, unfortunately the PS5 controller is expensive. So
Fuck, I mean, the price on that beats the crap out of what I paid for my Elite 2. That thing was a pretty penny.
yeah.
But that's got all the features and then some of what my Elite 2 does. The buttons underneath. I like that charging system on that. That's pretty sweet. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I can go without the headphone jack. I really don't use that a lot. So
Yeah, I use the headphone jack of my PC, so don't really need a headphone jack as a controller.
Yeah, and I just use a wireless headset, and you know, a lot of computers now have like lossless,
Right.
you know, or low latency modes. So
All right. Do we want to go with Stop Killing Games, or are we gonna go with Dad Simulator 2026?
I'm sorry, did you say Dad Simulator 2026?
Yes.
Let's go with that just because I like
I'm curious. What is that?
Yeah.
That would be a game came out last week called Pragmata.
Oh, yeah, Pragmata. Yeah.
That's something that we'll take care of in a minute. No, 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 no. Too many tabs. Let's see. All right, this one. Yep, this one.
Look at that, Hugh.
Basics of the game is you're like I guess a bounty hunter, and you're looking over this android that's in the form of a little girl, and it's basically dad of boy or dad of girl in this case. 2026.
Now, where's Hugh from? Venezuela, Malaysia, Denmark.
And I called it Dad Simulator 2026 because it's gotten a lot of reactions in the last week of guys that aren't necessarily dads like myself and Sammy here that and kind of triggered their paternal instinct and wanting to protect Diana, the little android girl,
Yeah.
during the game.
Yeah, and then there were some weird, and then there were some weirdo fucks online, as there always were, who were like, bro, this is pedophilia, and it's like, yeah, the only one saying that is you a-holes, and, you
Oh
know,
yeah, and since you already brought that up, I'm gonna pull up the other article that I kind of already leaked to. This person, Mary Morgan, from Timcast, is one of those weird freaks trying to call out men saying they don't have parental instincts, blah blah blah, and calling them a fucking pedophile, calling them pedophiles because we are gushing over a little android girl. Uh, Childless men. This is a quote directly from Mary Morgan. Childless men do not have paternal instincts the way childless women have maternal instincts. We observe this even in the little way girls play versus little boys. Men first experience paternal instincts once they have their own children, and typically those paternal instincts are only ever felt for their own children and no one else's.
She doesn't know what she's fucking talking about.
Right. Because I can sure as fuck tell you, as Uncle Mort, I sure as fuck have those paternal instincts the moment I held my little nephew. I will protect that little boy with my fucking life.
yeah, I very much have I very much have paternal instincts about my younger siblings, partially because I mean I was practically already like 18 years old when when the old of my two sisters was born.
Yeah, well,
So
I can agree with you there, Sammy, because my youngest little brother was literally born my senior year of high school, so I completely understand that one.
So you and I basically are in the same boat, as far as that goes. So yeah, I have you know, paternal, especially now too. Like I'm like, I was talking to my dad and an ex stepmother, like, I don't think you should be letting the girls play, Roblox, and
Right.
you know here
Roblox.
and here's why, and stuff like that. So
So that chick's on Timcast a lot, or I don't watch that show. I fucking hate
She's
that little
a
bald faggot.
she's on Timcast sometimes, but she's also got a offshoot show called Pop Culture Crisis, where she's one of the main hosts.
Does she have her own kids?
She's my understanding. She's a 20-something single woman that has a very, let's say, interesting style of dress.
is she is she like one of those like is she like one of those like larpers who's like, I'm conservative, but like I'm conservative and I'm going to preach to you about like being conservative, but like I'm also not conservative like at all myself.
She claims to be conservative, but I've seen her described as goth lolly.
Okay,
She's
yeah,
got daddy issues. That's the problem. She's got fucking daddy issues.
I mean goth is one thing, but you lose me at lolly.
Right.
So
Because we got a picture here. Oops, I'm trying to scroll down a little bit with see how many actual pictures of her we've got. Let's see.
it seems like she's getting roasted in the replies.
Oh yeah, she's gotten absolutely fucking destroyed after that statement.
Tim Pool just cannot get uh well, I mean, like Tim himself is
Piece of shit.
Tim
That's one way to put it, but
yeah,
I don't disagree.
yeah, Tim himself is a piece of shit, but also like I used to tune in at least for to see if there were any interesting guests, but like
Here,
honestly,
here- here's a picture of her. Um, yeah, let's see. We got another one.
I've seen OnlyFans girls that look less suspect than her.
Oh yeah, Mary Morgan is definitely suspect. Absolutely. Let's see if I can pull up better pictures this way. But it's borderline. The best way to describe it is it's borderline teenager goth lolly skater punk.
Okay, sure. And that woman, and so that wants to tell me I have no paternal instinct. Okay,
Right?
sure.
No experience with shit.
No.
I swear, the people that go on his show, like
Here's
the
this.
host,
How do you do, fellow men?
the host on that show, like they live in this weird fucking bubble, the Tim Pool world bubble.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, all of these influencers do, Joe.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I
They
mean,
definitely don't live in the real world. That's for sure.
half of them got outed as SPLC plans, but that's another story. So So yeah, now we've talked about Dad Simulator.
Now let's go to the.
Wow. Is that
This Young
overview?
yeah for
Oh, yep.
And Mort got rumbled.
Well, we went 50 minutes and he didn't get rumbled. That's got to be a record.
Workout Rumble. I'm back, but can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
All right,
I was just saying that was 50 minutes and you hadn't got rumbled this week.
right.
That's a miracle.
I guess they had a meeting with the UK Parliament. Stop killing games. This guy in the bottom right, Ross, got to speak in front of UK Parliament last week.
Yeah.
Was that California recently introduced this bill called Protect Our Games Act, and this is an endeavor that is being supported by Stop Killing Games as they throw their weight behind this California bill. They have moved to support a Californian bill that, in its current form, would require studios to either update games with impending server shuttering so they keep working independently afterwards, or provide full refunds. So basically, either make sure that when your game does shut down, there's some kind of functional state that allows people to access it, even if not in the best state possible, because, you know, it's meant to be an online experience and the servers have shut down. At the very least, if it's playable, it'll meet the criteria of Stop Killing Games so that the product doesn't just disappear forever. And if they can't do that, then the stipulation is that companies are forced to provide full refunds, which is something that corporations don't want. So they'll be incentivized to actually ensure that games just don't disappear off the face of the planet and out of people's libraries when support for them end. And not just for multiplayer games, but even a lot of like single player games when licensing agreements go awry. The exact knowledge that will allow this legislation to thread the needle so that it's reasonable for everyone involved while still ultimately achieving the goal of protecting consumers from the amount of control that companies have over digital products that customers don't really have much agency in, despite the fact that they're buying these products. And this Californian legislation will require companies that sell server-connected video games to notify consumers before ending support and to provide clear information about how the game will function once it reaches end of life. So it's about both.
That's great. Because I know a lot of the Stop Killing Game stuff is basically only in the UK. So the fact that we're getting anything here in the States is fantastic.
Out of fucking California, no less.
Right? I mean, California can fucking do something right? Holy shit.
I mean, yeah, I mean, look, like, you know, I'm still gonna say fuck that state and fuck
absolutely.
And fuck Gavin Newsom Riley, but like, you know, if they can do if they can do something right, well, you know, I guess minimal progress is better than none. So
A broken clock is right twice a day.
yeah. The only thing though, Craig brought this up on the Fake Untied podcast like 2 weeks ago. I agree with him to an extent with this. I do kind of hate that it is taking government, you know, like basically legislation,
right,
to you know, to
make companies not be assholes.
Yeah, I mean you would think that like the free market would kind of you would hope at least that that like some company in the market would, you know, would would try and solve this problem. But apparently not.
The closest that I've seen a company solve this this problem is when Gwent the Witcher card game from CDPR it's no longer supported by the company anymore. They don't do any updates, but anything that happens now, it's still up and running. But the community itself has the power to edit and nerf cards and has enough control of the back end to fix things that have gone wrong. Something like that is an acceptable way to deal with and end of service.
Nice. Well, that's better than nothing.
And my understanding, that's a lot of what Stop Killing Games Initiative is asking for, and I think Ross has mostly said that he's not even really dealing with multiplayer games, even well for the most part. He just wants games to not disappear off the
Right.
face of the earth.
Right, yeah.
Keeping consumers informed and doing right by them once a game reaches end of life by ensuring that either they get their money back or that they can still access some kind of functional version of the game. The bill also prohibits companies from selling the game within 2 months of its end-of-life date and requires them to either replace the game or provide a plan allowing users to continue running it after support ends, be it through a patch that allows for a single-player version of the multiplayer game or through some kind of functionality that allows for private servers, you name it. There are some exceptions when it comes to certain business models like subscription services and free games, so that kind of stuff, wouldn't apply because, at that point you are not agreeing to buying something outright, but rather renting something out through subscription or engaging with free games where you didn't actually spend any money. And the legislation would not apply to any products that allow for permanent offline download, like, GOG, or any game that's DRM free, where you can download the product after purchase and just kind of like copy and paste it and keep it anywhere and don't need servers from a company in order to ensure the game is functional. So yeah, there's a lot of legislative headway being made.
Stop right there real quick, and that's honestly a reason why, sure, I use Steam for a lot of the games that I play, but I also have a lot of the games that I play. Just for example, we all know I play The Witcher 3 a lot. I have that game specifically through GOG, so I could download that game entirely and have an offline copy.
Nice.
Yeah, well, so that's a lot of that as well.
In the US when it comes to what Stop Killing Games goals are for digital media. And you can see right here on Christopher M. Ward's own official website, you'll find that this legislation is something that is being actively pursued. So that's major development number one. And this development alone has already garnered a ton of public support. And that's important because politicians are drawn to anything that makes them look good in the eyes of the public. And so the fact that this whole development is already seeing posts like this that are garnering, almost 5 million views, over 116,000 likes, how viral these kinds of developments become, and how much of that virality in terms of overwhelming majority is all in support of Stop Killing Games goes to highlight that this is a topic that hasn't just died down, hence the momentum we're seeing on a political level now, on a legislative level.
Put in the work.
Fuck you, ads. I absolutely love that California, of all places, is dealing with games going offline.
Stop Killing Games recently joined the European Parliament to engage in a hearing regarding this movement to stop destroying video games and permanently erasing them from the face of the planet. And you can see the full videos right here, the full hearings yourself on Stop Killing Games official channel. But you can see right here from Scott's smile, like that's a man who feels pretty good about recent developments, who came out feeling pretty victorious about how things went when it comes to these hearings. And the thing is, this was the big one. This is the result of the European Citizens Initiative that shot significantly past 1 million signatures and what drew public attention to this movement. So it was really pivotal for this to go well. And the general sentiment is that it really did, for those who have looked into all of the different hearings and sessions. So Eurogamer, for example, reports that Stop Killing Games has its say in European Parliament, and it seems to go very well. You've got PC Gamer reporting that Stop Killing Games delivers absolutely incredible hearing in European Parliament. And we can find all of the details in the articles of these respective news outlets who covered all of this. Eurogamer focused more on Stop Killing Games.
Stop real quick to say there was a guy, a streamer, that basically came out against Stop Killing Games and torpedoed his career. I can't remember the guy's name offhand, and I know we've talked about him in the past. Former Blizzard developer, I think, and he, after the UK Parliament hearing, he was like, "You guys win. I was wrong."
Well, that's great.
Argument on why this is a necessity and how the major argument surrounding Stop Killing Games is that people no longer having access to something they paid for is unjust, stating, quote, this is directly from Ross Scott, who's been spearheading this entire movement. What this means is customers have no real protections when they buy games like these. They are unable to keep them, and they're not informed when they will end, especially when it comes to those like server-dependent games like live services and whatnot. This behavior would be outrageous in other industries, Scott said, which is something that just about everyone agrees with. If you bought a book in a store, he presents as an example, the publisher cannot come into your home and take back your book at will. If you bought an insurance policy, you would be informed when that policy ends, not that the seller could end it at any time for any reason, but still keep your money. Yeah, all very reasonable arguments. The games being sold this way are operating similar to scams. Publishers know customers expect video games to last, so they sell these in the same ways as ones that can work forever, as a one-time purchase with no expiry date, and price them the same, arguing that they do this on purpose so people don't question their game purchases because they don't have the knowledge to realize that the purchase that they're making is actually a temporary one.
Correct.
Rather than something that is permanent, as the word buy indicates. Scott argues that the industry is trying to have it both ways, trying to find ways to say they're selling you a game that they're not really selling you. This creates confusion for everyone involved, and it's part of the reason why it's taking time for customers to get exposure on this practice. Scott also highlighted some hard numbers that show the true grim state of games preservation and how digital media is being handled in the gaming landscape, spotlighting how out of 400 of these kinds of titles that require the corporation's service and their servers and whatnot for them to be maintained, he discovered that of the games, of those 400 games that he looked at, 93.5% of them were disabled when support ended, saying that this business practice is responsible for more destruction to the medium than anything else by an enormous margin. This initiative welcomes any solution that will solve the problem of video games being destroyed on this scale. We want this to be as easy and practical as possible for all parties involved and are very open to how that is achieved. We're not even asking publishers to change their business or monetization models, only that once they end support, they do so in a
Basically, what he's saying here is they want these gaming companies to actually respect their customers and let us keep access to what we've bought and paid for. Like back in the day, we had physical copies of our video games, so we always maintained our copies so we could go back and play it whenever the fuck we want. That's essentially what he's asking for in the digital landscape.
Responsible way, Our only goal is to prohibit this destructive practice and thus obtain basic protections for consumers and the medium as a whole. And the main thing about Stop Killing Games is that everything it's requesting is incredibly reasonable, even for the corporations. It's just that the corporations themselves are not willing to play ball because they can't be bothered to be slightly inconvenienced for consumer-friendly practices. You can see that Scott is trying to work with the video game companies themselves so that there can be a way where this can all be as frictionless as possible for all parties involved, but corporations don't even want to make the attempt because it's just an extra step for them. Because consumer protection is too inconvenient and not a necessity in their eyes because it doesn't serve.
Whereas consumer protection should be baked into the pie. Why isn't consumer protection baked into the pie with video games?
It's a good question. It should be.
It's baked into the pie for other things that we buy on a day-to-day basis.
Their financial quotas and goals.
So I know that
this article.
Sorry, go ahead.
That like the original Halo games that were on the original Xbox, Halo 2, and I think Halo 3, like those games are well nobody does Xbox Live anymore, right? But there is a service, I'm not sure, I think it's like called Insignia, where those guys still get on their Xboxes and play multiplayer against each other in different locations.
So it's kind of like a peer-to-peer setup.
Yeah. I suck at those games multiplayer, but I know I follow a channel on YouTube that does that, and they just get together and play the original Halo games on a separate system or whatever. Now, obviously, they know what they're doing, so.
All right, that's enough of this Yang video. I just wanted to give our audience the basic rundown of the update since we've talked about Stop Killing Games in the past. They've gotten good positive movement.
Good. Hopefully they keep it up.
Right. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on today is something that's going to affect our PlayStation friends the most. Is that recently PlayStation has done some sort of system update where they're trying to have game licenses only last 30 days. You hear about this, Sammy?
I heard about it like I heard about it somewhat.
Yeah, I've got a screenshot of an example of what the PlayStation 5s are showing with like new purchases and whatnot.
Super Meat Boy.
And from my understanding, it's just the new purchases that people are seeing this with right now.
I would need more detail on that
Right,
because
it's something that's developed towards the end, the later end of this week. It's just something that I figured we would mention just at the tail end of the show to like keep an eye on.
well, like I could maybe see like if I could maybe see a thing where like if they're giving people like game trials or something, then that could be a thing. But like I don't I don't see Sony or anyone else like, asking you to pay like $70 to play a game every
30 days.
30 days. So
My understanding is it just has to connect. The system has to connect to the internet once every 30 days for the renewal.
well, I mean, your system has to connect to the internet to do system updates uh anyway.
Right. It's just something that people started noticing this week, and it's definitely going to be interesting to hear from Sony what is exactly going on. Since we don't have, obviously, we don't have all of the details yet. It's just something
Yeah.
it's interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, well, I mean as much as people like to, dish on Sony and rightly so,
I don't see this as something that is. I hope it's not as dramatic as it's being uh, presented, and you're probably right, Sammy. It's probably just something that people aren't understanding right now.
well, the other thing too was even if it is as bad as some people say, um I don't people love to like I said, people love to bitch at Sony, but the fact of the matter is if Sony's doing it, definitely definitely Nintendo is.
Nintendo's going to do it, and then so is Microsoft.
Yeah. Oh, which by the way, we no longer call it Microsoft. More we call it Microslop.
AI slap? What?
Well, Craig calls Microsoft Microslop now because they're trying to insert Copilot into fucking everything now.
I don't disagree. Micro slap it is.
So
But yeah, that was the last little bit that I had. I just wanted to, like I said, wanted to mention it towards the end, just as as a potential watch out for our PlayStation friends.
I appreciate that more, and I will um I'll go check on my system to see if there's anything like that. I don't think there is, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
So
And yeah, that's everything that I had for this week, which was a lot, honestly. Which is why I didn't really want to go a week without getting everything out because on Tuesday they're doing a blowout for the Blood of Dawn Walker. They're revealing everything. They're doing more gameplay, and they're doing a release date reveal on Tuesday as well. So watch out for that for next week's show.
cool.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for that.
Well, I for one might even be willing to do like a Tuesday stream if you wanted to. But we can talk about that offline. It's fine. So
6 p.m. even. I wouldn't hate doing a live react to that.
yeah, me either. I've got the house all to myself this week, so
Nice.
but yeah, I don't have anything else. I just wanted to cover the bond stuff, so um yeah.
And I wanted to cover the stop killing game stuff and a couple of the other things that we covered this week tonight because I figured they were important enough to not try to run through quickly next week just so some more can get to the thing that I'm super excited for. Give it all equal timing. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on tonight.
Oh, you're
Yes,
welcome.
sir.
And have a good evening.
Thanks to the audience for listening, and we'll talk to everybody on Friday.
Alrighty.